So March is through and it's April already. I can't believe it. I don't know if you can. It's kind of next level that this year is moving on so quickly. But I wanted to recap on the month for March. Last week, I talked about kind of the economics of everything moving forward. And it's interesting in seeing now the numbers for March coming from our friends at the Cromford Report and what that looks like, and kind of tying into what Brian the economist had mentioned last week. All right, so let's get into it really quickly. I'm going to rattle off some numbers because I think they're really important. And as we've been trending and watching the market continuing to come down in supply, last month we saw a total sales volume, closed sales of 7,880, with a median sales price of 446,000. Now that's new homes, like new builds and resale homes. Okay, so here's where it starts getting interesting. So we've got closings total. We're down 30.8% from March of 2022, right? 30.8% down. However, from February of 2023, from the month previous, we're up 33%. So, boop, we bopped up this year, which is cool. Median sales price was down 4.9% from a year ago, but up 1.5% from last month. So, median home price, it looks like we're starting to see, I don't know, maybe balancing, maybe people more on the higher end is buying. I mean, 1.5%, that really doesn't mean too much, does it? Okay, so then median sales price risen 2 months in a row. So that's good. Let's see. Okay, so new home sales. This is where the market is starting to get hot. Is we're seeing these new home sales, almost 1,700 of those 7,800 homes were new builds, right? The average new build, like the median, is about 10% higher than normal. We're at 507,000 there. New home sales count was up 9.1% from March of 2022, and up 40.6% from February of 2023. So this last month, new home builders saw a huge upswing, which seems like it's almost arguably busier than it's been there in a very, very long time. So let's see if they can sustain. We're talking about new home starts and how those are slowing down. And at least these new home builds are continuing to move fast. That being said, when people are negotiating these new homes, it's like, okay, what can you really negotiate? Remember, if you're trying to buy a new home right now, don't think you're negotiating on price. Go in with a good plan, knowing that you're negotiating on everything else. So you want them to throw in all those other things behind the scenes that that's not going to be reflective in the price, right? From seller closing costs to landscaping packages to shutters and blinds to all of those things that they can throw in there that you never really see on that top line when it closes. All right, let's see. What's another good stat here? New home median sales price is up 2.1% from a year ago, but down 1.4% from last month. That's interesting. I'll include these on here so you can see them too. So I'll be reading next to me like this. Resale transaction count, instead of the new builds, which we saw new builds at 1,700, we saw resale transaction as the rest of them, 6,100, 6,181 transactions, median sales price of only 429,000. So resale count was down 37% from March of 2022, up 31% from February of this year. So yeah, we're way down from last year, but hey, at least we're on the upswing, which we should be at this time of the year anyway. Resale median sales price was down 7.7% from last year, but up 2.1 from last month. So we're starting to see these numbers, and we're starting to, the market since the first of the year has really been picking up a lot, right? We've been talking about it, and there's no inventory. So what are people going to buy? It's the time that if someone can buy something, they probably should. is the way that it looks. Interest rates are still relatively high. If we see, the Fed increase rates again at the end of this next quarter, most people are expecting that there's going to be a drop in that rate by third quarter, which I, am these people are all, in the business and in their respective fields longer than I am. So I'd assume that they can project that a little bit better. But if that's to happen, then everyone who's buying houses right now is making a very, very good play, because prices are just going to go up after rates come down anyway. So if people can get into houses now, it makes sense. There's just not a lot of inventory. I mean, that's the issue. I think this is going to be a very, very, very telling year. I had something happen this week. I straight up. So the homeless situation right now is just, it's getting next level out here in Arizona. For those of you in California, Washington, Oregon, you all have seen this already. For us, this is somewhat new. And I was on a city council meeting this week, and there was something on the docket that came up before the issue that I was supporting, or the project that I was supporting. And to see what's happening, and for people being displaced right now, there aren't a lot of options, and it's really sad. Like, it's figuring out what those next options are. And I'm in this business. Like, you'd think that we'd have more people thinking about this and figuring out where are people going to live, right? How is this going to work? We have some friends 2 doors down from us, a company called Trellis. They were Neighborhood Housing Stabilization Phoenix, an amazing company, and they do what they can, not for profit, but they're doing what they can to get people into homes with creative financing, all kinds of interesting things that they've worked out with the city of Phoenix. But other than like programs like that, which are so hard to come by, it's like, what are we going to do on a bigger scale? So I think definitely keeping those conversations going, and really getting them started is important right now, because this is just beginning. And you can see it, especially with the new home starts being so low. You can see apartment buildings are coming online, and they're not anywhere close to workforce housing. It's like, I don't want to get political here, but it's like, all right, what are we going to do to support, what's happening in the economy right now, and how are we going to find housing for people? People don't have housing, then what's going to happen, right? It can't be good. So things to think about. The market is definitely a good place if you own real estate right now. I'm definitely not encouraging anyone to sell if they don't have to, because again, with the shortage of supply, we're seeing what we saw was a little bit of a ripple on the rental side. Interestingly, our rental application fees went down by like 40% from the same time last year. We rented about the same amount of houses, yet we were down by 40% in applications. So that was an interesting stat that we looked at behind the scenes this month, and we were like, whoa, what happened there? Like, it just looked like it was so out of place, considering everything else was on the up and up, or making some sort of strides, and applications that far down. I don't know what to make of that yet. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know how that's going to show up for us in the next month, but I'll keep you posted and let you know when we do. Thanks for watching. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I appreciate you watching. Have a good one.